This is Akashvani. On International Peace Day, now we bring you a discussion on mental well-being of students and the cultivation of peace-oriented values. The participants are Dr. Joseph Emmanuel, Chief Executive and Secretary of Council for the Indian School Certificate Examinations, and Dr. Jitendra Nagpal, Psychiatrist and Mental Health Advocate. Moderator is Lucy Gabriel Chattopadhyay, Akashvani Correspondent.
Welcome to the special World Peace Day talk. Today we are joined by two incredible voices, Dr. Jitendra Nagpal, a leading psychiatrist and mental health advocate, and Dr. Joseph Emmanuel, the Chief Executive and Secretary of CISCE. We are here to talk about how schools, mental health, and the idea of peace all come together, and why it matters more than ever now. So today we start with peace, mental health and education. That is the very first segment that we are going to be talking about. And I address my question to Dr. Nagpal. Dr. Nagpalji, let's start with the basics. How do you see a student's mental well-being connecting with the bigger idea of peace in schools and even in society at large?
Indeed, we are in a flux at the moment across the world. India is going through a lot of change in the dynamics of education. We are also looking at how mental health is not just a component of health today. It is a component of every walk of life. When we are looking at education, when we are looking at social justice, when we are looking at engaging young people, involving young people in an equitable, empowering education, a classroom that is child-centric, not teacher-centric, a classroom that is also looking at participatory child, a child who can have the confidence and the bravery to ask a question without feeling hassled about it. Today we are looking at that piece in the mind of a child. So that is why education is not just about becoming literate anymore or probably moving into a job sector or a career sector. Education is life itself. Education is a synonymous pattern of life. Rounded personality development is required. We need to be responsible. We need to be empowered. Today dedication is important for your own peace, for your own growth, development, and being in homeostasis or peace with your environment also, the people around you, your family, your society, your peer group. To me, that is mental health as a part of education, therefore leading to peace that is eternal and also giving the youth the forefront torch-bearership for the nation also.
Dr. Emmanuel, from an education point of view, how can schools really help shape students into peaceful and emotionally strong individuals?
Education in a nutshell is aiming for peace, harmony and individual development. This will happen only by building character of the students. So activity-based learning, by enabling students to do things practically and engaging with the society in solving their problem, finding solution in an amicable manner, conflict resolution. So when we live in the society, conflicts are very common, but how to resolve the conflict is very important. So all these elements should be taught to the children through practices adopted in the classroom. Schooling is very important to bring peace in the society. School should aim for developing all the ideas, all the noble thoughts, attributes in the students. How it can be taught, it should be practiced in daily life through various activities. The children of today are tomorrow's decision makers and the society's leaders, so that they can take up the challenges with integrity and value in the homes of our students and from homes to society and the nation.
Do you think that peace, education and emotional learning should be treated just like any other subject in school? Is it really important?
We should go with an interdisciplinary approach. With every subject, all these values can be taught. These subjects need not be taught as a standalone subject. So multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary approach is very important. Also moving away from rote learning, activity-based learning, experiential learning, bringing joy to the classroom by learning by doing. All those elements should be incorporated and included in the teaching learning process. And by doing so many normal things in day-to-day life, all these components of peace and harmony can be inculcated as a culture as well as a habit among our students.
That's indeed a very good thought. Another thing I would like to know from Dr. G is if this as a subject is inculcated into the schools and actively with children, and it is really talked about from the very beginning, which class should it be introduced? Like from which level of age it should be introduced?
Excellent. Taking the clue from what Dr. Joseph has just mentioned, I'd go one step further. To me, the understanding of peace from the eyes of a child is about the interpersonal harmony, the way we respect the dignity of the other students in the class. We help each other to understand the importance of hygiene, sanitation. So peace is right from the time I joined school. Yes, the language differs, the activities would differ. For a child, it would be a lot of interactive play, coming together, enjoying, celebrating together. And as we grow up, we understand the importance of our body, our mind, and also interpersonal context. No wonder when it was Maria Montessori who spoke about the playway method in a school, it was also about peace. And the whole idea about Montessori system came in after the World War because they wanted peace in the world. So today, peace is not just about one subject, as sir was mentioning. It is a lot to do with the ethos of life. I know that my teacher tells me, parents tell me in a good conversation. So I think a family who is peaceful and has a subject reading together, they sit together and read that subject of the child, that is a peaceful family. So it's not just about one subject, it's about the way we deal with life in school, in family and society.
Yeah, another thing is, in your words, simple and powerful ways students can start becoming peace ambassadors.
I have a little philosophical conviction that every child is born to be an ambassador of peace. It's we the people, as we grow together, we become prejudiced or biased because of the geopolitics of the demography or the belief systems or the faith systems. Somewhere the child is the innocent heart who's born with the peace in mind, and it is symbolic. It is said that the face of a baby is the most peaceful face of the earth. For example, today life skills is a word being used. What is my level of awareness about myself? And now, as we know thyself. Know thyself is the most important education. So we've learned a lot from you, sir, about how discovering the self is part of education.
In fact, it is one of the core objective of national education policy, discovering
Isn't
self.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, be it at school, at home, or with family, in the friend circle. How does this impact, especially even if I ask you, with education also?
When we live together without peace, you can't survive, you can't create a harmonious society. When we think about peace, it's not the absence of any conflict. How to create the capacity to resolve the conflict, that's very important. In today's time, every child is facing cutthroat competition, survival of the fittest. So in such a competitive world, how to look after oneself is very important. While take care of one's interest, how to support the fellow human being, fellow citizen, fellow child, that is also equally important. So a society with care, compassion and mutual respect, that needs to be created. So it's not only important that I should survive, I should also help others to survive. So that kind of attitude needs to be created among our citizens. If our children come with compassion and care for the society, it's not only fellow individuals, fellow human beings, also for the nature. Preservation of nature is also important.
Yes, absolutely.
Swachhata is important.
Yes.
So we need to involve students in all the social transformation process.
Absolutely.
In fact, it has been very often researched now in Human Development Index also that there are challenges of empathy development, simple as empathy.
Yeah.
To feel the pain of the other person in my heart seems to be a missing thing today.
Yes.
And very easily conflicts are happening, interpersonal conflicts in the classroom as early as 6-7-year-olds, and amount of intimidation, threat, bullying, ragging. So these are patterns because somewhere the child and the growing adolescent in our country or anywhere in the world is not at peace with oneself. So the anger, the manifestation of that conflict to the interpersonal context is so common. So the purpose of education, family life education today is a lot to do with the way I am at peace with myself. So I'll help the others to be at peace because I'm like that. And peace is not about restraining. It's about, moving ahead with your choices in life, the choices I make, my personal choices, my career choices, my choices about the peer group I intermingle with. So it's not just about finding a corner in the school or the home and taking a deep breath. No, that is not peace alone. Though it is important, we all need to take deep breath, talk to ourselves, talk to the mind, talk to the heart. And a lot of schools are doing this good work, helping young children to introspect, reflective thinking, reflective education. So then we tend to analyze ourselves. So I think the connotation of peace today is a huge encyclopedia itself. And that's where every member in the family who is a caretaker for the child or the adolescent. For example, today adolescents are, say, 20 to 19 years. We are the largest population in the world.
It's the biggest asset for the nation.
Biggest asset.
Yeah.
And they need to be at peace with themselves and the environment. That is why symbolism of peace learning, peace education is also a lot to do with life skills, like being aware about oneself, having empathy, having coping strategies in life. Today, don't we all come across restless, young, uncontrolled childhood?
Yeah.
Especially with the onslaught of social media, so many, channels available on the mobile phone itself. And the patterns of communication, we seem to be living in a virtual world. And virtual world gives you so much of sometimes validation, which is virtual validation, which sometimes parents are not able to give, teachers are not able to give. So child is developing in a fantasy world. Like 100, 2,000 likes coming on my WhatsApp or my Insta. That's the world for me. So the child is not at peace with oneself in the environment which is real every day.
Yeah.
Like sitting on the dining table, enjoying nutrition with parents and family. Fascinating idea about, chalo, we'll run to the playground and be a lovely team playing basketball. Those things are less now. So we are lost in that social media world and getting appreciation from the world over for nothing.
Which is actually just virtual.
Virtual.
It's not real. And you're not literally living in the real world.
Very true.
And it's a make-believe world, basically. If
Absolutely,
I may
yes,
say
absolutely.
It.
And that's why it cracks very easily.
Yeah.
Because it's a glassy world.
Yeah.
And when the realization comes, moving to college and all that, that was a glassy world. The real people around me are not there.
Yeah.
So because you never made an effort to build them. So building bridges after growing up becomes too late. That's what we're coming across. A lot of young people, 15 to 25 years, going through self-harming, a lot of substance use. And it's a very uncomfortable situation to see the data. But yes, I think the discussion, what we are having, is a pointer towards early detection, early intervention. Yeah.
And even in schools, I'm sure this must be having a big impact for the students.
In the schools, there is a lot of bullying happening today.
Mm-hmm.
Cyberbullying, exclusion.
Mm-hmm.
All such practices are getting increased in schools. So as Dr. Nagpal has rightly said, we should take a kind of right intervention to create awareness among the students and create habits by doing practical things on a regular basis.
Right.
From virtual to real, that transition should also be promoted through the schooling process.
If a school or a teacher wants to start promoting mental well-being and peaceful values more actively, what's one practical step that we can think about and take? That's kind of an advice you can give to the teachers or parents also teachers, what can you think of any one practical step to begin with?
To begin with, every teacher should follow the approach of encouraging students. Every child needs encouragement. In fact, education is 90% encouragement and 10% teaching.
Right.
From encouragement, you should win the confidence of children. Confidence building, involvement of children in day-to-day activities and developing skills that helps them to navigate in the ever-changing world is very important. That practice should begin in the classroom. Every teacher should take the responsibility of encouraging the students. From encouragement, all other skills will be developed.
I think that's wonderfully put by Dr. Joseph. I'll also add to it. From childhood, we remember most of the teachers told us to perspire. Very few gave the inspiration. So the ones who inspired are remembered easily. We hardly remember teachers about the subject they taught, but we remember that teacher who inspired us for life. The role model teacher. So somebody who's encouraging, inspiring, and also has a equality in the classroom and not those favorite 5 people who are the toppers in the class. So today we come across children. There are children coming to us and say, the teacher doesn't even look at me in the classroom. Her favorites are, or his favorites are those 10 of them out of 40. So this is an indicator of not having peace within myself.
Right.
So when you're talking about peace, I think it's about validation, it's about appreciation, recognition, small things like a smile from a teacher or the mother and the father in the morning. So these are peace-loving moments, no? So life skills, peace, mental health, they all go together to create a very strong individual who can take on the vicissitudes of life tomorrow. Because as I said, the trials will always be there. The life is already going to be an empowered, wavy pattern. We think it's a linear growth. Life is never like that. So are we getting the young people prepared for that? That's mental health in education.
What role do parents play in this and families play in this in helping a child grow with the right kind of a mindset, that is with the right empathy and calm, care and all these things that come in?
I think life is most beautiful when 3, 4, 5, 6 members in the family know each other. And knowing each other is not just once. It's about reinforcing every day, weekly, monthly. So we come across so many families who say, oh, I didn't know that he has this friend and that friend. I didn't know that he's not able to study for so many days. Why didn't you know it? You're in the same home. Where is the communication?
Right.
Where is the conversation? So conversations not only about, are you ready? Is your uniform ready? Is your homework done? Is that 3, 4 questions? The children get sick of it. So it's about not duty-bound parenting. It's about active parenting.
Yes.
Encouraging. Be a part of the child's life. I heard a child saying, can't my father be a child when he plays with me? And it was a great comment, I thought. So he wants the father to behave like a child with the child at home, not play like the father. You know, that hierarchy in parenting doesn't work sometimes. So children today, that's why they resort more to friendships, virtual or real. Even children get parenting from their own friends. Oh, I think I'll take your advice. I don't know, my father doesn't, he always feels that he knows everything or mom knows everything. So what I'm giving a message is, get to know your child better by conversations, empowering conversations. There are so many incidents where children can actually parent their own parents. Hey, dad and mom, don't fight like that. I was taught peace education in school. Can you just not be a little calm? Oh, wow. The child is teaching us and the parents actually feel so good. So parenting is a two-way process, as we all agree. It's a process where child can be a parent also.
That's true. Yes.
With good ideas coming from the school. If Dr. Joseph is able to teach 2,000 children in a school and through the principal, okay, this is the message, then 2,000 families are benefited.
That's true.
So I think it's a patience and tolerance and compassionate communication. To me, that formula works better for a family. Have patience, have tolerance, don't lose your cool, don't always intimidate the child, don't threaten.
Be an active listener.
Yes, absolutely.
What would you like to tell to the students as an educator?
Students should always prepare to accept all the challenges and they should be coming out with the solutions to the problem and be prepared for meeting all challenges. And that kind of an inner strength needs to be developed in every child. That inner strength is developed by following certain practices in the classroom as well as at home. So together we have to make a better world by empowering our young citizens.
And that competition spirit also should not be lost, I guess.
Well, it is important to be part of the whole wheel of life, and one spoke in the wheel of life is competition, but do not become a victim of that competition. Be a master of the competition.
Yes.
You tame the competition. And that's what exactly what sir is saying, and I agree that the competition is a lot in the inner self. I would say it's a soulful competition.
Yes.
So be a competitor to yourself. Do your best, not his best or her best, because we start comparing children.
Yes, it creates conflict and that's the biggest fallback basically. Yes. And then students feel complexed.
I do agree on this that when we hear from so many peer educators in schools who talk about mental health and peace, let there be a moment where children enjoy the learning process. They feel empowered that what we are learning is not for passing exams. It's a moment of celebrating life itself. And I think dreams are very important for children to dream, but don't impose your dreams onto them.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Nagpal and Dr. Emmanuel, for sharing your insights today. It's clear that peace isn't just a global goal. It starts in our classrooms, our homes, and even in our daily conversations. We've heard how mental well-being, empathy, and emotional resilience aren't just nice to have in education. They're essential for building a generation that values harmony, respects differences, and knows how to manage challenges with compassion. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
You were listening to a discussion on mental well-being of students and the cultivation of peace-oriented values. The participants were Dr. Joseph Emmanuel, Chief Executive and Secretary of Council for the Indian School Certificate Examinations, and Dr. Jitendra Nagpal, Psychiatrist and Mental Health Advocate. Moderator was Lucy Gabriel Chattopadhyay, Akashvani Correspondent. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of Akashvani.